everyone. So today we'll be covering about cybersecurity unit 2nd and subject code is BCC 301. I'm Arpita Agarwal, assistant professor in CSC department in AKGEC. So the topic I will be covering is authentication service security. So what do you mean by authentication service security? So authentication security means a critical aspect of ensuring that user identities are properly verified and protected. Here are the key considerations and measures for enhancing the security of authentication services. So what are the critical aspects? Authentication means only the verified user will able to access the particular ID, and user that is not verified will not be able to access that identity. Like suppose we want to open a website, so or we want to open a email ID, our email ID. So only we are authenticated to open our email ID. No one else is authenticated to open our email ID. So this is the meaning of authentication. That means only the user that is verified is having an access to open the email ID. That is your email ID, and you are the one who can access your email ID. So what are the services that authentication provide? Like MFA. So MFA is multi-factor authentication. We will be discussing all these in details in our next lectures and in our next slides also. So MFA, multi-factor authentication, secure password policies, session management, encryption, brute force protection, secure credential storage, user authentication logos, monitoring for anomalies, regulatory compliances, user education, regular security audits, and API security. So first we are taking with multi-factor authentication. So what are purpose of multi-factor authentication? Suppose we have studied that in authentication only verified user is able to open the email ID. So how can we protect this? We are using a multi-factor authentication, and in multi-factor authentication we are adding a one security layer that provide multiple forms of identification. So how we are implementing it? We are combining the user knowns, that is password, with something like we are fingerprint, face scanning, okay, like a token. You have seen that sometimes we open our email ID, so it asks for OTP, and that it is linked with mobile devices. Once you provide the OTP, then not only you are able to open the email ID. So what is how it is done? This is done with the help of MFA, that is multi-factor authentication. Next is secure password policies. We all know if we are having an email and our email contains some policies, some things that is very important to us and we do not want it to be leaked out or to be disclosed to anyone. So we use secured password policies for it and maintain the strong password, like we use small characters, capital characters, special keys to protect our password strong. So how can we implement it? Enforce password complexity, like we can keep lengthy passwords, special characters, etc. So we do not use password again and again. We will discourage password reusage. Like sometimes we have kept a password once for our email ID once a time. So again, if we want to use that password, same password we have kept once upon a time, we will not put that password again. So this will add a secure password policies. Third one is regularly prompt user to update the password. If you update the password once in a week, you update the password once in a month, then it will be more beneficial and it will provide a secure password policies. Next is encryption. So what encryption is? Encryption is converting the text into a form that is only understood by the sender and the receiver while transferring a data on the internet. So, what a purpose of encryption? Encryption protects sensitive data transmitted between users and authentication services. So, implementation, how we implement it? We use strong password protocols. We use hash and salt password before storing them. Next is session management. What do you mean by session management? You have seen when you log in or something, after some time it is shown that session is expired. So why it is done? It is done to protect unauthorized access during the session. So implementation of it, we use timeout policies for it. We use secure session keys. We provide ability to log out remotely. So next are authentication, service security. Next comes brute force protection. So what is brute force protection? So brute force, in brute force, a user or a attacker tries to try all the possible combinations of the password until the attacker gets the correct password. So its purpose is to get the password, and if you get the password, attacker gets the password of a user, what is done? He or she can steal the information. So implementation, we use lockout policies for it. We use captcha for it. So this is all about brute force protection. Next is secure credential storage. So what is secure credential storage? You will not give your credentials to everyone. Only the authorized persons you give credentials to them. Suppose you are opening an account in a bank, so only the person that is authorized, that is a banker, will get your information. No one else has a right to get your information. So what is secure credential storage? Is that user credentials are stored securely. Next is API security. What do you mean by API? API is application programming interface. And what the purpose for API security? Why we are using it for authentication service security? Because it ensures authentication API are secure and not vulnerable to attacks. Basically, we do not want our information to be theft out. So that's why we are using our API security. And how do we implement it? We use API authentication methods. We test and update API security measures regularly. Next, we all use mobile phones and cell phones, and mobile phones and cell phones also deals with attacks. So what are some common attacks that we are dealing with mobile phones and cell phones, like malware and mobile viruses, phishing attacks, man-in-middle attacks, ransomware, SIM card swapping, bluejack and blue surfing, spyware, Wi-Fi eavesdropping, apps permission abuse, social engineering attacks, USB charging port attacks, browsing and downloading risk. So what is malware and mobile viruses? So malicious software designed to infect the devices and compromise their functionality. So what is a malware? Malware infect our software and our functionality of the software will be affected. So how can we protect it? We use antivirus for it. We download apps only from the official websites. Keep the device, operating system and apps updated. So, attacks on mobile phones and cell phones. We are taking it man-in-middle attacks. So, man-in-middle attacks, as the name suggests, communication between the two parties, and an attacker is gaining the information without the knowledge of the two parties that are sharing the information. Okay, how can we protect it? We use secure Wi-Fi connections, and we will be conscious when connected our Wi-Fi's, when using the hotspots or when using the internet at public Wi-Fi networks. Next is ransomware. What is ransomware? Malware that encrypts data on device, demanding a ransom for its release. And how we can protect it? Regular backup important data and avoid clicking on suspicious links. So, next is SIM card swapping. We are in a trend. We take a SIM, and after some time, if we do not like the SIM or some issues arises in the SIM, we tear up the SIM and throw it. So, this leads to a attack. So, whenever you buy a SIM and you discard a SIM, it should be properly discarded. Like SIM card swapping is basically unauthorized individuals attempt to take control of the user's phone by swapping the SIM card. So, how to protect it? We use PIN or password for SIM card charges, and we contact our mobile carrier who provided us the SIM if we have occurred a loss of service. Next is spyware. So, what do I mean by spyware? Spyware is a software that is installed on user device with an intent to collect the information. Basically, spyware is keeping an eye on the user software, and what is this? It collects the information. So, how can we protect it? It should be regularly viewed our apps and permission. We use security softwares to scan for the spyware. Next is Wi-Fi eavesdropping. So, what do you mean by Wi-Fi eavesdropping? Unauthorized individuals intercepting unencrypted Wi-Fi traffic to capture the sensitive information. And how do we protect it? We use secure and encrypted Wi-Fi connection, avoid transmitting sensitive information on public network. So, next is security implications for the organizations. We face security effects, and what are the effects, what are the consequences for that effects? That like data breaches, malware infections, phishing attacks, denial of services and supply chain attacks. So, common security attacks, data breaches, like we protect from unauthorized access so that we can store our confidential data and it should not be theft out. So, next is malware infection. Malware infection means viruses or ransomware that disturb or steal the data. So, phishing attacks, phishing means tricking someone, tricking the user and stealing the information and manipulating it. So, next is denial of service attacks. What is denial of service attacks? Overwhelming a system with traffic to make it unavailable to legitimate users. Next is supply chain attacks. Supply chain attacks compromising vendors or services to gain the access to an organization's system and data. Next is mitigating security risks. How we can take proactive measures to reduce security risks. Again, we use some strong software policies. Robust authentication means we store strong password policies, as well as we add a additional security layer like MFA, multi-factor authentication, to secure our data. We should be aware. We should be cyber aware. We should have cyber aware trainings. We should provide cyber aware trainings to our employees. Regular software updates and network segmentation. These are the protective measures so that we can reduce security risk. Next is firewall and intrusion detection, that is IDS. So what does firewall do? Firewall basically block unauthorized traffic and monitor the suspicious activity. So that's all for today. Thank you.